months later, we're doing very well. I got no complaints. Everything's
Awesome.
good. Everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give us another 5 minutes, and then we'll read you in. We got some people joining, people
Okay.
from all over the country. So it's 9 o'clock. It's kind of late here on the East Coast, but
6:01 here in the Bay Area, California.
There you go.
Ooh,
Good
he's
for
going to
you.
announce something about California having to raise money that's going to make the rest of your hair stand up. I'm going to tell you. So
I don't really, I stopped shaving my head. I'm not trying to be young no more. I just want to be old and healthy, man. That's it. That's it, man.
Priorities
I don't want to
change,
be
don't
young.
they? Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be young in these times. It's bad. It's for sorry for some of these guys.
Yeah.
it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Indeed. So we're doing so. Justin does this 6 days a week, and in the mornings. Well, depending on what time zone you're in. And we got the 2 nights. One night on Monday nights is tonight. That's open for everybody. And then on Saturday mornings, he's got I believe that's open for everybody also, right, Justin?
Yeah, Saturday is.
And they're
What
all
time on Saturdays?
10 a.m. Central.
It'll be 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'll be getting off. I work this graveyard, man. I hate it. As soon as this probation period is up, which will be in May, I'm going to switch to swing shift. It's wear and tear on the body, man.
we're not going to talk to you about probation now. So, but whatever, we got you. That was a joke. Okay, poor enough.
Yeah. I've been on that type of probation too.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, listen,
It's all good though.
You learn enough tonight to buy all the houses you want with private money. How's that? No more trying to find it. No more busting your bind. Trying to, you can't make the deal happen because you haven't got the money. It's an
You know
amazing
what?
feeling.
That sounds like music to my ears, man. That'll give me the leverage when I, working with motivated sellers. Nice good tool to have in the box.
You aren't kidding. Yeah, I got a lot of students out there in California. I was out there about a year and a half ago. And one of the things that I noticed was there's movie producers in the crowd wanting to use private money for movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine
cool.
that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
A lot of different flexibility. I'll talk about that. You can use the money for a lot of different stuff.
So sounds like winter, man. I like that, man. I'm trying to unplug, get this ball and chain off me, man. It's JOB, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was the best day of my life when I quit. I quit my job. You know what? People come to my boot camp and quit their job next day because they got so much money.
Yeah, man. That's the goal, man. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be like Claude. I want to live, live the savoir faire life. Have a home in one state and a home in another state. Spend 3 months over here, 2 months over there. Yeah, I like that. I don't like to be in one spot.
Yeah. Well, this gives you flexibility to travel and buy a bunch of houses.
Well,
so
we got
money.
We got a bunch of people coming on board. We got about 7 or 8 people that just joined in the last minute. I think we got to kick this thing off. So just one thing I'm going to ask everybody this evening: if you've got questions, please write them down. Don't interrupt the middle of the presentation that Alan's going to share with us tonight. So at the end of the presentation, he'll turn around and he'll ask for questions and all that. So write them down, and we'll open the floor for everybody. But just
Steve, can't they put them in the chat box?
They can do that also.
Yeah, and that'd be probably easier.
We can just rattle them off.
Yeah, and then yeah,
that would be great also. Okay.
Yeah.
Do things a little different, but let me do a quick intro on my friend Alan. All right. If you're ready to find out where to get the money, this is the guy. All right, for private money. Our speaker today is Alan Cowgill, and he's going to show us all how to get the money you need to fund your real estate deals. Alan is known all over the nation as the guy who has cracked the code on finding private money to fund deals. Alan's an author, a national speaker, a private lending consultant, and he's appeared on TV, radio, podcasts galore, and 3 national infomercials. Alan started his career as a real estate investor in 1995. So he has over 2 decades, or you know what, almost 3 decades of real estate experience. In 2001, he quit his job and started as a full-time real estate investor. Alan has created a system to buy 5 to 7 houses every month and has done hundreds of real estate transactions. Alan has brought to our industry the following. 1, the 3-touch rule. The rule that differentiates family, friends, and associates from strangers. Number 2, at the Alan's SEC chart, that's Securities and Exchange Commission chart. Innovative chart that easily allows students to pick the proper SEC compliant program for their businesses. And number 3, the biggest thing for you folks out in California, the California loophole. How to get $5 million in private money for only a $700 fee. Over the life of his live events, students under Alan's guidance have raised over $500 million in just their first 24 hours. Alan will cover what private lenders are, how to find them, and key lessons on how to work with private lenders. Alan will share the best and least expensive ways to find private lenders to fund your real estate deals. Ladies and gentlemen, I met this man back in 2009, 2010. He taught me how to raise private money. And I've come to raise millions of dollars in private money, and I have 2 investment funds thanks to this man. I told you I wouldn't bring anybody on this podcast that I didn't feel 100% it was credible, and I've already experienced. This is a gentleman. Listen to him closely. Take notes. If you have questions, put them in the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, my honor to introduce my buddy, my friend, Alan Cowgill. Take it away, bud.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Hey, I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to get more money in your bank account. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
Here we go. Yep. Hey, and on that California loophole, every state can use that. It is set up in California, but if you ask me a question at the end of this talk, I'll share with you the steps to, for those of you who don't live in California, suck money out of California and use it in your state. And those of you that live in California, it's actually $100 cheaper because you live out there. But we'll talk about that if you want to. You have a burning desire to take your real estate business next level, maybe quit that JOB and make big chunks of money. I'm going to show you how to get the money you need to buy single family homes, apartment complexes, or commercial property, regardless of your credit or financial situation. I know folks are out there just getting started, need funding for their deals, and other folks are out doing deals with their own money. What I'm going to show you is who should use private lenders. If you don't know what private lenders are, that's okay. That's why I'm here. I'm going to show you one in just a second. But if you're a beginner, the hardest thing for you to do is how to fund your deals. There's only 4 parts of a real estate deal at the very top level. Number 1 is you got to find a motivated seller. So it's a good deal for us. Number 2 is what we're going to talk about tonight, money, private money. And I'm right at the pinnacle of that one. And number 3 is you rehab it, enhance the value of the property. And then number 4, you either keep it long-term or you flip it, you sell it. If you can't get by this second item, you are dead in this business. You beginners, you tend to start off the hardest way, which is going to banks. And I'm going to show you the easiest way on how to get the money. And I want you to start easy and not take that hard path out there. If you're an intermediate real estate investor, you can do a handful of deals and the lending institutions will shut you off. How do I know that one? Happened to me 3 times. That's what gave me the desire to get private money. And then if you're an experienced real estate investor and you're putting your own money in the deals, they're actually maybe a better use for your money and where you can get a higher rate of return. We'll talk about that. What I'm going to train you on is the best, the easiest, the cheapest, and the safest way to fund your deals. Isn't that what you're all looking for? Well, private money will afford you that opportunity. Just a quick little background about myself. I was out in the corporate world. I got a quarter century working in corporate America. Wore a lot of different hats. I was an engineer for 5.5 years. I was a purchasing agent for a while, materials manager, a department manager, those flashing lights that you see on airplanes. I was in the aerospace division for 17.5 years. That was my department, about 60 folks working for me. I did acquisitions in Europe. And so I had a lot of different things that I did. But along the way, I saw that some family members of mine retired at poverty level after working at JLB all their life. And it got my attention because at that point in time in my life, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. And I had this old beat up car that I needed to put some money into. And I thought, well, that'll last for a while. I'll put that on the back burner. And I'll be darned, on a first date, that car paid me back. I pulled up in front of this apartment complex, take this lady home, and I hopped out of the car, started to walk her up to the door, and I heard something. I turned around, looked, my car had burst into flames.
Wow.
If I was out teaching with you right now, somebody in the room would yell hot date, you know, I mean, more like first and last date. Kept me frustrated.
Yeah.
You know how embarrassing that was? Every morning when she woke up to remember that date was a burnt chard mark in the parking lot. Well, it kept me frustrated, not knowing what to do with my life. And I looked into franchises, but they take money. I couldn't do that. I did decide to invest, though. I took my whole federal tax return and plunked it down on lottery tickets. Lost on every ticket. Now you think not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? Well, one night I couldn't sleep, and not too far after I had been on that date with that lady, and I couldn't sleep. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, started to channel surf, and I hit one of these real estate infomercials, and I thought, you know, I've been looking for an avenue on how to change my life. Maybe this is it. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I picked up the phone. I ordered that home study system, and it changed my life. I got enthralled with real estate. That year, I bought my first 2 investment properties, the next year 5, and then 18. Bought and sold hundreds of properties since that point in time. Half the deals I do are without monthly payments. Would it be okay with you if I show you how to do deals without monthly payments here in a little bit? Just imagine that. Just imagine having $1 million loaned to you. You don't have to worry about a monthly payment. I'll teach you that. Now, where you can use private money on the residential side, which is where I'm at. Rehabs, wholesale, subject to, short sales, sweat equity, luxury homes. I don't have to worry about those in my area because I'm a low end area. In fact, a luxury home for me is when I buy it, I don't have to put a toilet in it. I mean, yeah. You know, but a lot of you got luxury homes. Okay. So you use private money on that. And then on commercial, about 35 to 40% of my student base does commercial stuff based on my techniques. Motels, apartment complexes, storage units, mobile home parks, and much, much more. Now, what you might think about is this. There's a lot of uses for private money. You could buy your own home with private money. You could buy notes and make money on notes. In fact, I speak for note buyer conventions. I spoke for 450 mortgage brokers out in Kansas City, and they were interested in getting private money so that they could get those 5 points, percent on the loans. You could become a hard money lender. I'll show you one of mine here in just a second. You can fund a business, fund a boutique, movie producers, like I said here right at the time we got started. And you could fund a concert. I got folks that I'm in Ohio. And before the virus hit, had a group getting ready to put together a major concert. So maybe they'll get back to that as soon as things die down a little bit. I started out with banks. And let's talk about the financing I tried so you can see where I came from. The banks would go in and they were very friendly to real estate investors. But one day the regulators looked at the bank's books, says, you can't do that type of loans anymore. And what that did was shut my business down. So that was the first out of 3. Shut my business down. And I had to do something else. So I got a line of credit. Now, think about a line of credit. You max that out, you shut your own business down, and every year they can call that thing due. So I gravitated over to hard money lenders. I did 16 deals in 8 weeks with hard money. Woo, they're expensive. But if you don't have private money, it's an option out there. Now, creative financing, you're saying, wait a minute, Alan, why would you put that out there? Because we all do creative financing. Well, if you go out and you see a deal that you desperately want, but you can't get the funds to do it, and you have to walk, then that isn't very good. And so I want you to be able to take down any deal you can take down with just a phone call. How would you like to money a phone call away. In fact, when you think about private money, I want you to think about ordering a pizza, because that's how easy it is. You pick up the phone and you order up money from a private individual. So I want you, when you get to creative financing, be able to pull the trigger and take that deal down, okay, because you got private money a phone call away. So if you're going to a bank, a line of credit, or hard money, because they set the rules, and with private money, we get to set the rules, you are not in control of your financing. Or if you're doing creative financing and you can't get the funding, then you're not in control either. Let's talk about what most of you start out doing. Just like I said on the beginners there, maybe some of you are still doing it. Being at the mercy of banks, you can lose some of the best deals because somebody comes along and buys it out from underneath you. You got to have money down. A lot of times that's 20% you got to leave in the deal. Points and loan fees, and granted they aren't high, but they're still eroding your profit base, and they will finance some unusual deals. I'll show you some of my deals they wouldn't have touched that I made tens of thousands of dollars on. Monthly payments. They love monthly payments. I told you half my deals without monthly payments. By the time I'm done with you, if you so desire tonight, you could do all your deals without monthly payments. I'm going to show you something that's just going to blow you away. And time, they take time. I wanted to buy a duplex. The place was appraised okay, credit's okay. Took the bank 4.5 months to make up their mind. I could have lost the deal. Today, I could get an offer accepted on a Monday, and I could own the property on the Friday of the same week. That's how quick you can react. You got no relationship with the bank, but you think you do. You are lulled into a sense of security because you got somebody's name and their business card. And I'm here to tell you, you got air. You got nothing, because they can quit, retire, get laid off, or get promoted, and you got to start all over again. Or they change the rules like they did on me. You are disqualified from borrowing when you have too many properties. What's wrong with that picture? Shouldn't you be able to buy what you want and the volume you want? Well, what happens if you're dealing with a bank? A lot of times they'll shut you down. I had 2 banks shut me down at 4 properties. Nothing changed in my life, nothing. But they changed some internal rules, or they had some internal rules. And when I hit 4 properties, they wouldn't fund anymore. Incredible. You got poor credit, they aren't going to touch you, but private lenders don't look at your credit. Your income doesn't satisfy the bank, they aren't going to touch you, but your private lenders don't look at your income. And when you leave your JOB, the bank will quit you. How do I know that one? The day I quit my job is the day the bank quit me. And that bank had been with me for years and years and years. But because I'd quit my job, they wouldn't fund me. Hard money. Let's talk about hard money lenders. For those of you that don't know the difference between hard money and private lenders, I'm going to show you that here in a second. First off, I want to show you about a hard money lender. A guy in a white shirt, his name's Hedry Grant. And he's out of Minnesota, and this is his family. And you notice everybody is smiling because dad's got money, right? I was up in Minnesota getting ready to speak to 215 folks, and Hedry grabbed the mic before I got started and told everybody about how he borrowed private money based on my techniques, and he had $7 million of private money that he was using for his deals and using as a hard money lender. Could you use an extra $7 million out there? I would think so. So, you know, and you could have a second stream of income if you decide to become a hard money lender, couldn't you? Now, here's the difference. Hard money lenders versus private lenders. Be aware. Hard money lenders, pay attention, sometimes call themselves private lenders. And the difference is this. A hard money lender sets the rules. A hard money lender sets the rules. A bank sets the rules. A line of credit sets the rules. You get the theme here? But with private lenders, here's the distinction. We get to structure the terms. We set the rules. Everybody got that? Think about that. Everybody else is setting the rules, but private lenders, we get to set the rules. And that's where I want you. Watch me structure a deal now. Here's my very first deal. And I'll show you what a private lender looks like. It looks like my mom. There's Ruth. There's my mom. In fact, I just got off the phone with her. I talk to her every night now. I just got off the phone before I got on this. So what had happened was mom had committed some money when dad passed away. And she would do what a lot of people do. She took the money and plunked it down on a bank certificate of deposit. She hadn't been taking care of the finances, but she thought that was the way to make her money grow. And so she would drive 45 minutes one way just to get a few pennies more on a bank CD. Now I'm coming up to my real estate education. I hear this thing about hard money lenders and private lenders. I thought those were interchangeable terms, but they're not. They're distinctly different. A hard money lender sets the rules, but with a private lender, I got to set the rules. So I went back to mom and I said, look, you're getting this paltry low rate of return on a bank CD. I'll pay you 3, 4, 5 times what you're getting on the bank CD. I'll give you a mortgage, a promissory note, hazard insurance, lender title insurance. I'll pay you simple interest only monthly. And mom jumped for joy and started loaning me money. Now, I just told you how you could get a private lender. Okay. And then I quit my job. The company had a layoff and they were looking for volunteers, and they had the best package that they'd ever offered. And I wanted out. I wanted to be a full-time real estate investor. And so I was the first person in HR and took the package and left. The only problem of it is my timing. There was a downturn in the rental market. I had to evict some folks. I ran into a negative $10,000 per month cash flow problem. Banks wouldn't touch me. I expected them to stay with me, but they wouldn't, and I'd hit the wall. Well, then I thought back about mom, and I had another lender along the way. His name was Ed, and I'd sit at his kitchen table the night we talked about him loaning me money, and he asked me a bunch of questions. I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you. I couldn't answer all of his questions, but by the time I was done, he agreed to loan me money. So I had 2 lenders, but then it took me 4 years to get another lender, which is at the catalyst here when I quit my job. See, I didn't see the power and the potential at that juncture of how powerful private money was. Well, what happened was I needed to find private money, and nobody out there had a roadmap on it. And so what I did was I called a meeting. I could have done one-on-one like I did with mom and Ed, but I had to move fast because that $10,000 cash flow problem. And so I had this meeting, and I had 18 potential lenders show up. And I get up in front of them and I told them about my real estate business, my dreams, my aspirations. I showed them 37 slides that I had put together. And then I just flat asked them to loan me money, and it worked. I did it again the next month. I had about 12 lenders show up, did it all over again. And a couple months later, I had a pad and a pen added up, and I had $1 million to go buy property. And that's what launched me. See, I found the roadmap, and that's exactly what I'm going to teach you. I'm known as a guy that's going to crack the code on finding private money, and I made it work for me and many, many others, and you can do the same. I just learned a few simple things that I've done. Now, let me tell you how I structure my deals. I can offer payments 3 different ways. Now, some of you can only do one way, like if you're a wholesaler or if you're a retailer, you'll only use one of these, okay? Or if you're doing a big 40-unit apartment complex, you only use one of these. So here's the 3. One is to amortize, and the going rate on the nation on that I see is between 4 and 5% right now. Simple interest only, where you pay just the interest monthly to somebody. Going rate on that's about 6 to 7%. Okay, that means that the principal doesn't pay down, whereas on amortizing it does pay down. Okay, I wish I'd have done more of them. All right, and then the last one is you get paid when they get paid when you sell the property, and that means 0 monthly payments. You let them accrue, and then when you sell the property, then the lender gets all principal and all accrued interest back. Okay, so that's the way I pay. Most of you are only going to be able to pick one. So like if you're doing big apartment you're going to do your complexes, you're going to do number 1. Okay. So if you're retailing buy fix out, you're going to do number 3. All right. Landlords.
That was a real important slide.
That was really important. Yeah.
Go back a second. I hope everybody got that, because when you're structuring deals and you're looking at cash flow and looking at holding on to a property for a certain period of time or dumping it, you got 3 avenues there you can take a private money investor through. Real important.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because that's a brand new slide that I just put in for exactly that reason. Normally, I don't have a slide. I just talk to it, and I thought, it's better if I write it down for everybody. Okay, so and we can talk more about it too later. But that's you're right on target. Yep, landlords, I got a cookie cutter for you. You buy and fix with private money. Why would you do that? Because you can move fast. You can find a deal and take it down the same week. Okay. You can beat the pants off your competition. Then you would rent it and then you would refinance it to get a lower interest rate, free up the money, and go do it again and do it again and do it again. And you can build an empire doing that. Okay. But you buy it with private money so you can get the deal and not lose the deal. How much your own money do you need to do a deal with private money? Well, none. I don't put 1 penny of my money into the deals. Everybody got that? I borrow 100% from a private lender. There's only, at a closing, you got 4 things. One is you need to have money for the buying the property. Number 2 is you got closing costs. Number 3 is you got rehab costs. And I want to talk about this in a little bit. Number 4 is I have a little bit of money from my pocket. Okay. But what I do is I borrow 100% of the money from an individual, and they send it into closing, and then we close. And I walk out of closing with my rehab and a little bit extra for me. Look, once you learn how to utilize private money, whenever you need more money to buy a property, you just plug in your system and more money comes out. You're curious about how I find people to loan me millions? Let me show you one way that my students do a meeting for many. You know, I told you about the meeting for many that got me $1 million. So they could have a meeting for many, and I've got it set up and resolved a lot of concerns. You don't have to do a lot of public speaking. You don't have to do a lot of anxiety, have a lot of anxiety. It's pretty easy, and it can be a lot of fun. Let me show you 3 steps on finding lenders. Number 1, it's real basic. You generate leads. Just like when you're buying a property or selling a property, you got to generate leads. Yes or yes. Okay. You got to get your marketing going. It's the same with private lenders. You generate leads. And then you send them information or invite them to a meeting, like a Zoom meeting, one-on-one, or a group for many. And then what happened in my first luncheon is I was doing a luncheon. And so, and I had these 18 folks in front of me. I said, let's have lunch. Now, what happened was I needed some feedback from them, and they needed some direction from me, and neither one of us got it. So what happened is, in my second luncheon, I changed things. And I said, when you, right now, look in your packet and pull out this form and fill it out. And I will collect those, and we'll have lunch. And I'll show you that form here in just a minute. And on that form, it tells them that, fill in your name and tell me how much money you want to loan me. Pretty cool, huh? So it made all the difference because I got some feedback from them and they got some direction from me. And it's made all the difference in the world for me and my students. Now, I'm going to go through these 3: generating leads and information in the passive plan. When I get to the passive play, I'll show you that form. So in generating leads, you got postcards you can send out. You can run ads. Now, if you're doing a meeting, a lot of times I don't put the time down, and then that way they call me if you're doing lunch, brunch, or whatever. But the way it is in the world right now with Zoom, you would put the time down, okay, and have people show up. All right. So you generate leads, and then you could have a group meeting or a one-on-one, whatever you want. Okay. You can do face-to-face or Zoom, however you want it. And then they get the answers. Those are the 3. It's a very simple program. Why I like Zoom, it's quick and simple, and I can leverage my time by talking to everybody at once. And I can get a pile of people on the Zoom. Now, here's $1 million tip for you. I want you to talk first. What I mean, I want you to tell them what you do. And you can leverage your time. If it's face to face, when they're sitting around the table having lunch, they ask each other questions about what they just saw, and they get peer confirmation that what they just saw was wonderful, and your conversion rate goes through the roof. It skyrockets. So at Zoom, you don't get that. But when things get different, okay, without the virus and all that, then we could do one-on-ones, or we could do face-to-face, a group, and it makes a big, big difference because of the peer confirmation. So number 1 is to talk, tell them what you do, then follow up. Here's the steps, okay? Then follow up. 60% of your money comes from follow up. And I want you to do it like this. I want you to ask them, you know, if they want to loan you money. And if somebody says no, then you're done. Don't chase them. If somebody says, let me think about it, then what I want you to do is have them think about it. Okay. But maybe give them some tools, and I'll show you the tools I use. And then follow up within 7 to 10 days. Write that down, 7 to 10 days. Get a hold of them. And I want you to do these two things. One is, it's very simple. You just say, do you have any questions? Now you might think it's tough. That's how you open it up. Do you have any questions? And then during the conversation, if you think that it's a good time, I would say this. This is how I ask for money. Are you ready to get involved? Pretty simple, huh? You're ready to get involved. And if they say yes, now you're going to love this part. I'm going to add a third part right now. Are you ready to get involved? If they say yes, and let's say they say, I'll loan you $200,000. I want you to instantly say this. If I find a deal worth 400,000, should I call you? I always double it. If they say I want to loan you $1 million, I would say, well, if I find a deal worth 2 million, should I call you? But that's the 3 steps. You got any questions? You're ready to get involved. And then you use my up the ante technique. Okay. And you have to do this because look at what's in the orange. Follow up. 60% comes from follow-up. It's huge. Now, step 3, okay? How do you end the presentation? I told you I fell on my sword in that first one, and then I changed it in the second one, okay? So what I did in the second one is I said, pull out this form and fill it out. And in my case, on the first ones, have lunch now, today, it would be Zoom and an email. So I would send it to them via Zoom. The bottom of this has different amounts that they just would check. Okay, and that section there, you have to put down what you're looking for your deals, you know, in your state. Okay. Would you feel uncomfortable getting up in front of 20 people because you're more afraid of public speaking? So many people are, right? You just do this. Just do a 101. And my students are amassing millions just doing 101s. Okay. And I'll show you one. I'll show you one or two. Understand that some of you might be anxious about talking to somebody. So what if you just send them out a digital audio via email and let the audio do the talking for you? Wouldn't that be cool? Well, it is one way that you can raise money by hardly doing anything. Wouldn't you like to raise money just by sending out an audio, let it convert people into private money lenders for you? Now, on the audio, it sells, you want it so it sells private lending for you. And the first part is all about that it sells the listener on private lending. And then part 2, the last part of the audio, tell them why they should loan you money. So it comes right. That's the 2 things that you want. Now, what I did, you see that bold and yellow. What's that? Well, I got a radio talk show host guy that I knew. His name's Rich Hoffer. Lived in Ohio here, and he was a sports announcer for like ESPN and Toledo Mud Hens and ABC. And so he now lives in Arizona. But what I did was I gave him a script to do what I just showed you up there on part 1 and part 2. And then he came back and gave me the audio with a very compelling voice. That's why I had him, because it used to have my voice, but his voice was great. And so what happened then was all I had to do was email out that audio, and it made all the difference in the world and took a lot of time and effort off of me. Okay. So it sells private lenders on loaning you money. Now, look, I'm not meant to be a speaker. I mean, when I was in corporate America, I mean, I'd get up, my knees are knocking and all that, but I've raised millions of dollars in this business. Why? Because the system I developed worked so well. It put my presentation on autopilot, and I just had to read the words, and the words did the work for me. Or you could hand out a pamphlet. I got a pamphlet, which is another one of my tools, to where it answers 12 questions for the private lenders. Now, how to come up with those? Well, if you take 100 people and you would ask them to give you what questions they would want to know about private money lending, these would be the top 12 that would bubble up. And so it's a high likelihood that when I hand this out, that those questions out there will resonate with the potential private lender. So I have it on a special report, and I also have a credibility kit. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And I put it in there too, so you can see it there. Or I just email out the audio I just got done talking about. So what I'm going to do here tonight is let you know a handful of tools that I use. There aren't a lot, just like 5. So here's how to ask Uncle Joe for money. The words. How would you like to have the words that I say? What this is magic words. This is asking somebody if they have money or they don't have money, if they broke or not. So I would say, do you have IRA or investment capital that's not currently earning a secured high rate of return? Very simple. And if they say no, you're done. If they say, well, let me think about it, then you want to tell them a little bit about your business, okay? Like a little short elevator speech. So do you have IRA? Now, investment capital, I might change that to bank CD. Do you have IRA or a bank CD? Because that would resonate more with my mom, okay? Now, who are your prospects? People, not institutions, not people wanting points and loan fees and all that. People got excess capital. You need to come up with a minimum. You can change it tomorrow and change it the next day, but you ought to have a minimum out there for your business. And primarily, this surprise you, it's middle class. You think it's all millionaires. It's not. Your posture is some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. SW, 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 SW. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Don't beg, don't plead, don't even ask twice. Just tell people you pay a high rate of return and move on. And move on. It's a numbers game. You're borrowing money to buy a property. You're putting a mortgage on the property. And when it sells, you're paying back the money with interest. You got to keep it simple. You aren't selling shares in your company. The best benefit is you can do more deals and more profitable deals using private lenders. Here's where I find national average CD rates. It's in the USA Today newspaper, Thursday paper, the green money section. I like to go to that 1 year. Right there, you see a 0099. Last time I looked, it was a 0076. So $100,000 loan at 0076. That is $760 of interest at the end of 12 months. That is pathetic. You can pay the people 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% and blow this out of the water at your competition. You can save your deals, wholesale, subject to, short sales, retail, commercial properties, Airbnb, all because you got private money. The flexibility is incredible. Would you like the ability to make offers with confidence and have pride in yourself because of it? You are not taking advantage of anybody. They need you worse than you need them. I want you to get that embedded because that's so important. You are helping these folks. Think about the good you're doing by helping people wanting to retire. They're worried about it. Can they afford to eat? Do they need to be a Walmart greeter? Now they can stay retired because they're getting a high rate of return from you. It's about helping the folks that can't get a deal, can't get the what they want. Let's talk about Aunt Mary. She fictitious lady, but there's a lot of these folks out there. She amassed $500,000 for retirement. Current CD rates is 00 nothing. And so she's getting $5,000 a year, which plus her Social Security. Now you come along, you pay her 6%. She's getting 30 plus her social. She's getting $50-some thousand a year now. Would you feel good helping people out there? That's the other aspect of this. Okay. You not only help yourself, you help others. I just wanted to let you know, when I started out with Mom and Ed, I had a trickle of money. When I had those 2 luncheons, I had a river of money. When I tapped into dormant 401ks and converted to self-directed IRAs, I had so much money, I couldn't spend it all. I had to have a guy come in and spend it for me. I'm talking about IRAs. Now, you can't lend to yourself, child, or parent. You can't lend up and down the family chain, but you can, brother and sister, and you're creating your own private bank. How would you like to have your own private bank? This is the way you do it. You borrow. You have people roll over their 401k into a self-directed IRA, and then they can live off that money, and now they get a big chunk that they can loan you. Here's what the Wall Street Journal said. Through a little known tool known as a self-directed individual retirement account, individuals can pursue a wide variety of investments from real estate to businesses. Now at least several thousand people are trying to goose their retirement savings by using self-directed IRAs to invest in mortgages. It goes on. Typically, IRA investors aren't looking to back 30-year conventional mortgages more often. They make loans with terms lasting from 3 months to a few years to fixer-uppers, small-scale developers, or families who are relocating and need a bridge loan between home sales. They normally find borrowers through the informal network of real estate agents, mortgage brokers, or Alan Cowgill. Okay, I made the last part up, but you get the idea. So here, write this down or take a screenshot. If you find somebody with a 401k and they have quit, retired, or gotten laid off, you can roll that money over into a self-directed IRA. And this is a group that has no monthly payments. If you desire to have no monthly payments, if you're doing retail, you need to embrace this. Or if you're doing wholesale, same thing, no monthly payments. You borrow the money and they get paid when you get paid when you sell the property. Whenever you need more money to buy a property, you just plug in the system and more money comes out. Forget banks. How would you like to do deals and never talk to a bank? You know, you're providing an opportunity that is amazing to get folks the money that bank won't give them. For an example, banks charge 29% on interest and credit cards and then give you 0.29 on CDs, 1/100th of the 29th. Ouch. Instead, you can help your friends and family make money. They need to retire and you get rich too. Look, if you're a beginner, do you think acquiring private lenders could help your business? My gosh, banks are tough. And seasoned investors, imagine the wealth building opportunities you have lost over the years because you failed to get private lenders. And all of you, how many deals you're going to let slip through your fingers and lose altogether because you failed to get private lenders after tonight? You know, during the loan process with a bank or hard money lender, you're waiting to be approved. Makes you feel bad. Makes you feel like you're begging for money. Let me show you a better way. This property here is on 5 acres. There's a pond out front, a stable and a pole barn, and a little stream across the back of this place. And this is a $200,000 home. I know if you're out in California, this thing's it's $2 million home. But it's got a first mortgage and a second. First mortgage is pursuing the foreclosure. I talked to them. They said, if you want to cure this, which means pay up back payments, you pay us $14,000 and we will stop the foreclosure and you can start making payments. Now the second mortgage is in trouble and they're going to get wiped out. So I negotiated with them and they said for a measly $440, they'd wipe that $44,000 off the books. I knew then I had a deal. I needed $18,000. I picked up the phone, called the private lender and wiped the second out, cured the first, and 3 months later sold the place for $43,214. Didn't have one penny of my own money in it. All I had to do was put the thing together with a private lender and a measly amount of money, $18,400. Imagine being the loan approval committee and in control of your financing. Imagine the power of that statement in your life, like I was on that deal. One of the biggest items that can cripple your business, whether you're a beginner or seasoned investor, is a poor cash flow. Imagine skyrocketing your cash flow by getting some of your profit when you buy. I alluded to that just a little bit ago. This property here, lady wanted to sell it. I wanted to buy it, had a mortgage on it. I wanted her to deed me the house, leave the mortgage out there because it was a lower interest rate than I was paying my private lenders. She agreed, providing I gave her $39,000 in walking money. Now that's a showstopper for some of you. But if you got private money, you pick up the phone. And in my case, I ordered 50,000. Listen to the math. I ordered more. I ordered 50,000. She got her 39. I needed 3,000 repair and I had 8,000 for Alan's pocket. Actually, what I did on that 8,000 is I took part of that and made the payments on that first mortgage until the place sold 3 months later. So I made $45,900 on that deal. Very important. Get some of your profit when you buy. Imagine that. You normally only get your profit when you sell. Now my lender, let me pull back the curtain. Name's Libby. She had a 401k and did just what I said before. She converted it to a self-directed IRA. And when she loaned the money to me, there was no monthly payments on that. I made $45,900 on the deal. Credibility kit. I would highly recommend that you get a credibility kit. I have a page on me, a page on the company. I have testimonials. I have highlights of my life. And I went to the office store and got certificate paper to where I created my own certificates. Okay. Just like being part of this podcast, you could have a certificate, the fact that you're a member of this podcast group, and stick it in there, and you get tons of credibility on that. Don't prejudge folks. Just get out after meeting me tonight and tell people you pay a high rate of return and let the chips fall where they may. They will test you. Remember I said, if somebody says, I'll loan you $1 million, and you come back and say, well, if I find a deal worth $2 million, should I call you? That first $1 million is because they're testing you and they got more money back there. And I just gave you my technique on upping the ante, and they become your best sales folks. Go ahead, man.
Every time, man.
Isn't that something?
Time.
Yeah.
Every time. Especially when they start getting the handwritten checks. By the third check, Alan, what happened?
Yeah.
They want to loan you more money.
They give you more money.
Yep.
Yeah. And they had it back there. They're just waiting to see if you're real.
Yep.
Yeah. And they become your best sales folks. One private lender will bring you two will bring you 4, and you do what? You up the ante on every single one of them. Now, just imagine your private lenders bringing you more private lenders. How many? I had so much money I couldn't spend it all. I had so much private money I couldn't spend it at one point, and I hired a guy to spend it to go out and buy houses. And he doesn't have the education most of you got. He on real estate. He came in mid-September, and from mid-September to Christmas, because I've got systems that he could use, I taught him how to do it. He bought 21 houses for me. And then from New Year's to August, he bought another 48. Had a lot of money, didn't I? This property here, a gal by the name of Blanche was on this. I painted it blue, put shutters on, put a furnace in it, sanded the floors. When I got done with the place, paid the private lender back, and I walk away with $34,747.19 on that deal. Not one penny of my own money in it. And then she writes me a thank you note. I appreciate the opportunity to invest in her above average interest. God bless Blanche. How'd you like to get notes like that? Is this a win-win-win? You win, your seller wins, your private lender wins. Yeah. Your buyer wins. Okay. How do I use private money? Well, just real quick here. I got 2 properties I'll show you. Parents built this house for their daughter, Wendy. Wendy got married. Parents live over the pickup truck. It's all their land. Wendy got a divorce. Parents are now making how many house payments? Let's count them up. Theirs and Wendy's. She moved out. Had it for a year, couldn't sell it, gave it to me, free house. Now there was a mortgage. Cost me $1 for this. I picked up the phone, called a private lender, put a very small $5,000 loan on this property. And here's what I did with the money. I painted the sky blue. Okay, joke. I landscaped it. See the fence on the left? Covered up that ugly tank, put shutters on it. And in 5 weeks, had somebody in it and they bought it. Got an ugly house here, don't we? Watch the windows in the door. Sided in place. That's where the money goes. Let me give you 17 ways private lenders are good for you and your business. It puts you in control of your financing. If that is the only thing that private money does, put you in control for the very first time, then you need to embrace private lending. But it does more. It fits with all types of real estate deals. You do deals that banks and hard money lenders will refuse. That means you lose. And you got no monthly payment. It's easiest because it's not a lot of work. Learn the techniques one time, use them for a lifetime. Your funds show up with just a phone call. You got an army of lenders out there begging you to take your money, and you are no longer begging for money ever again. It's the cheapest because you avoid hard money lender fees, you avoid padded fees, you buy property at a discount because cash is king, and you'll be able to close deals because the most expensive funding you will ever have is when you can't close. Imagine going to a closing with a realtor and you can't close and you just took food off their table. They are not going to be happy with you, and they probably won't do business with you again. You never want that to happen. And private lenders afford you the fact that it's a phone call away. It's a safest because you quit your job and you still get funding. You got poor credit, you can still get funding. You can borrow extra, just like I showed you, so you don't run out of cash, and you avoid the embarrassment of losing great deals because you can't close. Best, easiest, cheapest, safest. There is no other funding source that can match all 4 of these. I just gave you 17 solid reasons to get private lenders. Let me tell you about Robert. Just imagine having $1 million a phone call away. Well, that's what happened to Robert. Let's talk about Robert, one of my students. Robert Anderson's retired and $53,000 in debt. He is struggling. Married, didn't know how he was going to dig out of the hole, to be honest with you. Wanted to buy this apartment complex to get him out of the hole, but he couldn't even pay the closing cost. Well, got my system, got a private lender. They were asking $2.3 million for this apartment complex. He took $500,000 off, and they took it. He took off $500,000. He offered 1.8. They took it. The private lender structure was no monthly payments. He sold it 7 months later, which was his goal. Private lender walked away with $270,000, which is fine because they were the catalyst to make this thing happen. And there's Robert. There's a picture of Robert. He said, I couldn't have done this deal without Alan's system. He walked away with 1.2 million profit. Woo. He took care of that problem he had, didn't he? Can you imagine that happened to you and how you feel?
No payment.
Zero. No payments. Wow. Yeah. It was his first deal. So he not only got 1.2, it's his first real estate deal. Created real estate deal. He did this deal in Florida, and now he lives on a 27-acre estate in North Carolina. Last time I talked to him, he was doing 5 more deals. Is that typical? No, it's not typical. It's typical that you get 0 if you don't take action, okay? I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you think, hey, I'm just going to ask Uncle Joe to be my lender. Well, you know, be prepared. Why risk getting caught off guard with questions you can't answer without the right approach? You could be dismissed as a fly-by-night. It's hard to ask somebody for money a second time after you stumbled. So I got a system. I call it my millionaire system. I'm going to take 5 minutes and share with you a little bit about this. There's 3 components to the millionaire system. It's how to attract and convert folks into lenders. The second one, we had a vacuum in this industry on how to manage lenders. There was nobody out there teaching that. I created a full-blown home study system on that. That is the second component. And then education on the rules. I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Well, here's the first component. This is what I'm actually known for in the industry is how to attract and convert people into private money lenders. And that is my premium system out there. It's got my $1 million presentation where I had 2 luncheons, got $1 million. It's got all the advertising you need. It's already got the scripts done, special report that I talked about. It's got that. All the work's done for you. You go out and you do an autofill on a website and fill out this template, and you hit the enter button, and 24 forms are filled out with your information. My name, my contact information comes out. Your name, your contact information goes in, and in less than 10 minutes, you're ready to go find private money. That's how quick it is. That template's great. Once you go fill out that template, you go to this where you can start doing your downloads. Up here on the all documents less your state, that's the 24 filled out with your information. You download those. This have your state in them, and these are state forms when you get ready to advertise. I've got 24 audios in this whole millionaire system. You can download all those right there. And then there's some disclosures here, and then the wealth system that I talked about, which we had a vacuum in. So speed automation, you get my proprietary forms. You get the forms so where you can advertise for your state, and all the audios are digital. There it is. There's a thumb drive. That it goes inside that red envelope. That red envelope goes inside the pocket of the premium system. Okay. Now you'll be able to answer the toughest lender questions with confidence and know the right way to position yourself to overcome lender skepticism and win your trust. Now on that thumb drive, that has all the audios, but also you saw on the template and the website, you get all the audios there also. They're the same. Quick start manual. Insights what to do behind the scenes and advertising secrets. You get an audio and a manual. My office manager did this. She set up a video to give you a quick start training. And so you zap that with your QR code on your phone or iPad, and you can watch that. If you don't have one of those QR codes, that's fine. Underneath this, I got a link you can just put into your browser and get to the same place. The audio where I talked about the radio talk show host, that comes on that thumb drive. So you get that, and that's my favorite way. That's my favorite way to find lenders. Credibility kit. I created a credibility kit. I told you briefly about mine, page on me, page on the company, so the certificates. I give you mine digitally, and there's more in there than I had time to talk about. I don't want you to reinvent the wheel. Just mimic me, okay? Now, component number 2, how to manage lenders. You'll be able to achieve so much with this system. It prevents disputes with your lenders. I have never, ever, ever had a problem with the lender. Steve said, I started in 1995, got my first lender in 1997. I've never had a dispute. The right time and way to get money from your lender, streamline lender maintenance activities, keeping a positive cash flow, and correctly close escrow, and setting up and using IRAs. I got a whole chapter on IRAs. I talked about that being the pot of gold. And component 3, this is compliance information, where I had an SEC attorney do a training, got 8 audios on this. The first audio is 12 Q&A that I wanted to get out there in front of everybody. So it's really powerful. I've also got a live event. There's a guy that's kneeling down there on the right. That's Dave Seymour, friend of mine. He's a TV star on Flipping Boston. And he came to this event before he was a TV star. And how do you think he funds his deals? Private money. Every single workshop, my students have acquired their first private lender. How much? Well, Steve told us at the outset, they have raised over $500 million in the first 24 hours of my event. We raised money right at the event. There's no place else on planet Earth that happens. In fact, I've got a student that called me up. He says, "Are you for real?" I said, "Yeah, I'm for real." His name's Carl. And he said, I don't want this to be a sell-a-thon. I said, "It's not a sell-a-thon." I said, we raise money. He says, "Can I raise money?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Everybody's different." I said, "I hope so." Well, he came in and he gave me this video. Watch this video.
I came here prepared. We had listened to the CDs as Alan had instructed us. So I came here and did the homework. We were working the homework prior to arriving. We knew what we were going to have to do the first evening in terms of our assignment. And so I came prepared and actually got commitments for $40 million of capital. So I just really encourage those that are listening to my words here. If you're not committed to go.
Could you use an extra $40 million? He actually raised 42. He raised $42 million. Every time I see Carl, he gives me a kiss on the cheek and a hug. I saw him in Cleveland 9 months after that video, and he'd raised another $230 million. Anyhow, what's that number there? Well, that is a la carte, the cost of the 3 components and the boot camp. So the premium system is $997, the well system $797, the 8 SEC audios are $597. That's what I sell them for. And the boot camp, the 3-day virtual boot camp, is $500. And so that adds up to that. I'm going to give you a big discount. Okay. So to get the whole shebang, it's $1497. I'd love it if you do that. Being virtual, it makes it easy for everybody. We don't have to pay for hotels and all that kind of stuff now. Or you could do a 3-pay at $597. That comes up higher than the $1497. And the reason for that is because of maintenance in the office, and some credit card doesn't go through, then we got to chase people. So $1497 is the best deal. 3-pay $597. Or some of you just want the home study system. You want to not get the boot camp, and that's $997. That is the price of my premium by itself, and you get so much more out there. So I give you options, and you can take what you want. How do you order? You go to allenpodcast.club, not .com. We're a group club. I like using club. So allenpodcast.club, and pick which one you want. I'll show you here right now. When you go out to the website to order, you click a button, you'll zip down in the page, and you'll get to this where you can fill out your information. And that page is set up for $997. Okay. Now, how do you get to the other options? Well, you scroll right on down through that, and you see that big fat blue arrow and that tiny little square there. Well, I put a check mark in that tiny square. And what that does, if you look up to the other blue area, the thin area arrow, you see $1497 or $597. And above that, you can check on the box that you want, and you got it. So you got 3 options, $997. You'll see that first, and then come down to this big red box and click on that little blue box, and it'll pop up there, $1497. You can see that in the top half. And then there's also one up there for $597 3-pay. So whatever makes you happy. Troy Wilkinson, one of my students, he said, "We were blown away by your program. Talk about a paradigm shift. After 20 minutes of presenting your private lending slide presentation on our laptop, he interrupted and asked, 'What could you do with $1 million?' None of us could sleep that night. I'll bet not. He got $1.4 million 20 days after meeting me. and he's from LA, as you see, and he was doing deals with the money all over the US in Atlanta. So here's what my system will do for you is create the best funding for your business that you could have. A peace of mind that money is a phone call away. Build a business any size you want. Create flexible funding programs. Eliminate fear of losing a deal because you got money backing you up. You got more time to do what you want because you're not waiting on a bank or hard money lender or begging for money, and it puts you your real estate funding in order. I didn't have time to talk about that, but your real estate funding is out of order if you're going to a bank hard money lender. Everything you need to get private money is in the millionaire system. So everything you need is in the home study system. All right. I don't leave any stone unturned. I give you all three legs of creating the millionaire system and the tools that you need. I would love to have you also tack on the boot camp. It's dirt cheap. It used to go for $4,995. You get it for $500. The world changed and it's virtual. So, yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, you ought to do it now because this week I'm giving away me. I got a certificate where you can have me for 90 days to help you find lenders. It starts anytime. So you control the whole thing. You control when it starts, and then we go for 90 days. Why get that? Well, I'll help you. I'll give you clarification on concepts. You can move fast on deals because I'm in your corner. You get direct access to me and you bypass my gatekeepers. My gatekeepers are awesome. My office manager has been with me 13 years. But if you want to work with me, now I got to limit this because I speak all the time. And if I take everybody, then I get, too much. Family likes to see me every now and then. So this is limited to everybody that gets it by midnight tonight. You will get me. Okay. So I got a second bonus. This is a website with private lenders. You go to this template, top left there, you sift and sort on lenders in your backyard, or if you're going to do the California loophole, then you can, in any state, you could search in California, you can save the searches. And then if you want to mail them, we got a letter already done. But somebody, you got to pay the guy or gal that licks the stamps. Okay. There is 1,056,633 private lenders on that site, and we update it monthly. Bonus 3, upgrades for life. That's my life. So if something new comes through, I will happily replace it with the new stuff. I'll give you 7 days once the package hits your step. The home study system we will mail to you. The digital audios, I can send those to you, tomorrow. So if you're not thrilled within 24 hours, you can get all your money back. Okay. But the clock starts here when it's delivered. Ironclad money back guarantee. Even if you do return it, you can keep all the bonuses. All the risk is on me. The opportunity is right here, right now. Your future is waiting for you to invest in the system. Where do you do that? At allenpodcast.club, allenpodcast.club. Real simple. Just imagine having the money to do what you want and go where you want and do what you want. Yeah, man. That was the end of it.
Our group's done a lot of this podcast group has done a lot of speaking about how to raise capital, how to go outside and find private lenders. And a lot of what we use would be it's proprietary there through PropStream. And on PropStream, we can zero in on all those lenders in a particular area. But what I want to say is, if we took one of your CDs or made a CD similar, we customized it to like an educational type of CD, not making an offer, and we sent it out to just say 30 people in the general area that was surrounding, let's say, this particular market and whatever zip code the person's working. I can't imagine that not being a hit, because when the person's listening to that CD, you've got their undivided attention. And regardless of whose voice it's in, if you want to raise private money, man, this wasn't around years ago when I was doing this. This was not around. I can't see you limiting yourself by having by anything. If you can make these CDs and make copies of them and stuff, lay it all out, even follow Alan's program, follow how he does it, make copies of it, send those out. Man, the job is 2/3 of the way done already. I mean, yeah,
you can tailor it to yourself. On the CDs, I don't provide CDs anymore, except for what you're talking about right now, Steve. Yeah. I'm going to include a small, called a clamshell. And inside that clamshell is a CD and marketing material. And it's the one that's made me millions. Okay. So people get that CD, and that same CD is also in 2 other places. It's on the thumb drive and it's on the digital download website. Okay.
Awesome.
And so you brought up a great point though, because when they get that audio, they can go on in and edit it and put in there how people can get a hold of them, right? Put their audio on there, and really spruce it up, but it's pretty cool the way it is. But if you add that information, that would enhance it. If somebody gets it, then they could get a hold of you.
Very cool. Very cool. We've got a question in the chat room here.
Great.
And it says, does the group meeting get around the SEC solicitation rules? If so, how?
Well, here's the deal. When I wanted to know if what I was doing was legal. And so I hired an SEC attorney, and that SEC attorney, what he did was I had him research Ohio, because I was told by other speakers that there wasn't any rules, and it's just the opposite. There are rules out there. And so I had my attorney then research every state in the United States and Canada. And when he got done, he called me up and he said, "Hey, I want to thank you." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "I'm moving into my new house and you just bought it." Now, you don't want to hear that from anybody out there, okay? I mean, but that gives you the knowledge of the dedication I had to you and the moral obligation I had to you to make sure I have the facts. So in the premium system, there are 4 chapters on the SEC, and on that component 3, there are 8 audios on the SEC. So I'm very keen on that. And let me give you an example here of how this relates to a sporting event. With a sporting event, when I went out for high school football, the coach taught me the fundamentals, how to get in the position, how to block, and how to tackle. He also gave me a rule book, and that rule book said if you're carrying the ball and you're going 10 yards, you get a first down. You're carrying the ball, you go across the goal line, you get a touchdown. Private lending is the same as a sporting event in that it's got fundamentals, which I just went through with you now, and it's got a rule book. Now, the rule book that you're asking about on the SEC is this. It's very, very simple to comply with the SEC. They have the basic rule that you don't want to break is you can work with people that you know. In 37 states, you can get a private lender tonight. In 13 states, you have to fill out a piece of paper and pay a small fee, and I think the state does it for the fee, and then you can get private lenders. Okay, so but if you want to work with strangers, then there are 6 different programs. I should say 5. There's really 5 different programs that you would use to comply with the SEC, and some of those are free, and some of those there's a fee. Okay, and all of them they'll have a form you would fill out. Okay, or some other information. So so the thing on getting private money is I love to have my students go out and find private money from people that they know. In my boot camp, I teach them how to do that, and they within the first 24 hours have raised over $500 million at my event over the years. But if you want to work with strangers, then you need to take some steps first, and I go through all that in the Millionaire System. Okay, so to answer your question, really simple, is you need to know the rules on working with people that you know and working with strangers. And so you can work with people you know, or you can work with strangers. Some people are in the NFL club, no friends left. Okay, so you're going to have to work with strangers, and so my students just go ahead and follow the rules and get the paperwork filled out, and then they can move ahead on that.
That's great, Alan. Has anybody else got a question? Our chat room's got accolades. Thanking you. Great information, Alan. Anybody have a question they want to sport right now before we call it a night? Going once.
I want to say one thing before you leave me.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
when you're talking to a private lender, you cannot inadvertently or inadvertently say something that's misleading. And so you don't want to say the word guarantee or low risk or your money is secure, right, Steve? Yep. You know this. I see you shaking your head.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So one of the things I teach is what I've learned from my attorney is that you don't want to tell the lender that the money is secure. You can tell them it is secured with a D because it is secured with a mortgage, a promissory note, hazard insurance, and lender title insurance. So if a private lender comes to you and they say, is my money secure? I want you to instantly say, well, we all know real estate is risky. So I can't say that your money is secure because I can't, help with what the market does. But I can tell you this, that it is secured with a mortgage, a promissory note, hazard insurance, and lender title insurance, the same thing that your personal residence has with the bank. And so I cover you just the same way they do. So you don't say guaranteed, don't say low risk, don't say that the money is secure. Okay. You can't say it's secured. All right. So very important.
I explain this to my investors. I said it's asset-based lending. Well, here's the asset. This is what it's worth. This is what I want you to borrow. This is what I want to borrow against it. And here's the spread between what you're borrowing, what you're going to lend me, and what it's worth. Mm-hmm. Don't get that kind of security on Wall Street. No bank's certainly going to give you that. So there's a spread. And I tell them since I don't sign personally on any of my notes. I tell them, if I don't pay you, you get the property. So go to church on Sunday, say a novena, pray I don't ever pay you because you're going to get a house that's worth a heck of a lot more money for what you invested. Right. Pray I never pay you. Of course, it hasn't happened. So, yeah, I do own, like it says from Kenny Wright, yes, all non-recourse loans. Yep. Alan, this has been great, man. Anything else you want to add, bud? I really appreciate you coming on board with us tonight.
Yeah, this is fun. There's the states pretty much do things the same way. They have different variations in there. It's all in the system. If you get that, yeah, Kenny, you're welcome. I saw you said something there. We talked about California loophole. For $100, all the states can sign up in California as a foreign corporation. California doesn't need to do that. But Vernon. So sign up as a foreign corporation, and then you can use the same thing that all the folks in California can do, which is fill out a 2-page form, pay $600, have your advertising. Your advertising has to fit on a tombstone. I know that sounds simple, but that's what they said. That means they don't want a 15-page sales letter. You send in a disclosure and your $600 check. And then you can suck money out of California. I got people in Canada using this. I got people island off of Venezuela using this. People in Pittsburgh sucking money out of California. Or if you're in California, which makes it even easier, then you don't have to pay the $100 and you sign up and you can have. Here's the key: you can get $5 million this year, another 5 the next year, which is 10, another 5, which is 15 the next year. You can build an empire just doing that. 5 million. And all you do is fill out a 2-page form. Hi, Ray. Thank you. I appreciate it. 2-page form and pay $600. It's incredibly simple. My attorney found that, and he just was ecstatic when he found that, because all the other states have a cap of $1 million except for 2, which is Vermont and Indiana, and they're $500,000. Now, there's ways to go over that. And it's very simple. You create another entity and you can have, double your money and things like that. But the states have some rules, and we just need to know what they are and follow the rules. And that's what sets me apart from everybody else, because other people out there that talk about private money that are teaching, they don't have the rules like I do. Hey, Jason, thank you. Killer material. Love that.
Yes, yep. Indeed. Anybody else? A last comment before we call it a night? Justin, anything you want to wish? I see smoke's coming out of those things, man.
Is he still in here? Justin's still in there.
He's California, $100, and smoke started coming out of his headphones there.
Yeah, I told somebody, I was like, hey, that California thing, that's
it's awesome. My students love it. Yeah.
But for $100, if you got contacts in California, you can raise money out of state. So I've never done it, but I've done it right enough right here on the East Coast. But I'm happy
Well, you
with that.
see, what you do is you take that private lender data feed website that I talked about having 1 million lenders out there, and we scrape
Right.
it every month to add lenders on that. What you do is you get signed up out in California for 600 if you live there, or another 100, 700, and fill out that 2-page form, and then you use that to find people and attract people in California.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine sending them out that video, that CD? Just send. I mean,
yeah, just email it out.
God, what you can do today, technology-wise, is awesome.
Yep.
Freaking awesome. It gets some killer. Yeah.
Yeah, and you
All
can have a
right.
private lending meeting like we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
You can have people, yeah, you can have do one-on-ones, or you can have 20, 30 people on this.
Hey, I think Vernon's got something to share. Vernon.
Yeah, I would say, I guess everybody's going to be calling Victor and Mark because they're in California.
There you go.
We got Rashid's over here. Rashid's from California.
Well, the name on it is 14 words long. And when I found that out, I wasn't going to say 14 words and try to, do that all the time. So I called it California Loophole, because no other state doesn't. And it makes it sound slimy, but it's not slimy. It is ultra cool. And I got students using it all over the place. Yeah.
Well, so everybody knows this podcast is recorded. You can go back and listen to it. All right. Anything that Alan offered that was just tonight or whatever, how that works, I guess that's got to be tonight. So whatever.
No, everything. It's just me. I'd like to have them get it tonight so I can help them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else they get.
Hey, Alan, I want you to promise you come back and visit with us soon. Just come in, check in. Anything new coming on? Come on and just join it. Just join in when you got. It's a Monday night. Grab a cocktail, put it on the table. We're very laid back.
You're a good group.
Monday night, late man. It's late.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I love
Anybody else? Last thing. Anybody else going once?
Thank you for being here.
Alan. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Honored to meet you. Thank
Alan,
you.
Yeah.
You're a gentleman. So much, and I know this was last minute, man. So I really appreciate you coming.
I think the world of you, Steve. We've known each other a long time, man. So and we've been in contact all over those years too. So yeah,
it's all good stuff, man. Talk to you soon.
All right,
thanks everybody, and I'm out of soap, so have a good night. You guys take care.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.